Hi golfers, Rob Cheney here from GOLFTEC Singapore. Today's video, we're going to discuss the subject of lead arm or lead elbow flex, whether that be during the backswing, during the downswing, impact, and of course, even into the follow through with that dreaded chicken wing. We're going to use the new GOLFTEC motion measurement and OptiMotion system to measure that throughout the time and space of the swing. I'm going to give you some real world examples of a player who's improved their golf by using this measurement and focusing on this, and I'll share with you some drills that you should be practicing if you want to improve this part of your swing. So the first thing I want to do is show you the OptiMotion measurement as we measure here at GOLFTEC on the lead elbow flex. So I jumped on the mat and just hit a shot, pretty standard shot. I've only got my 9-iron here, so this is a short iron swing. I want you to see it set up how the lead elbow, in my example here, is measuring at 0 degrees of flexion, so it is pretty straight. I would make the point it doesn't have to be dead straight, and you'll notice some people find it a little bit harder to get their arms completely straight, so it's a little bit of an individual thing. But working towards pretty straight at setup is a good place to start. Moving into the swing, the real pieces I want to give you quickly before I show you the real life example is the pattern of movement that you're looking for. So this would be generally considered quite good and pretty standard procedure for good players. So moving into the early backswing, the turning and the tilting is taking care of the movement. The arm and the lead arm is staying straight. So I'm not raising the club away from the ground by pulling my arms in. I'm getting the ascent of the hands and the club through the turning and the tilting as spoken about in many previous lessons. That's a good one to think about. By the time I reach the top or get towards the top, it begins to be a little bit of flex in the lead arm. As I say, nobody's keeping it perfectly straight the whole time. And by the time I reach the top of the swing, I'm at 15 degrees of flex, which is actually pretty standard for PGA Tour averages, to be honest with you. Somewhere between 10 and 15 degrees at the top would be considered normal. What starts to happen now, and this is the pattern that's really, really important, okay, the numbers themselves are not that important on their own. It's the pattern of movement and the direction that this arm is moving towards. So as I start to move down, I reach P5, which is left arm parallel with the ground. You're already beginning to see how the arm is straightened from 15 degrees to 10. And then very importantly, from this piece on, from this position, P5 down to impact and even after, the arm should be straightening. The lead arm should be straightening. So you're going to see that move to 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. And just by the time I reach impact and through impact, we're at 0 again. I use the phrase radius management in a lot of my social media posts. I think if you could sum up golf and its frustration, if you like, in 2 words, and the task that the golfers are faced with on every single swing they make, it's radius management. It's managing the radius of the swing. People are choosing to do it in a vast, almost infinite number of ways. There's an infinite number of ways you could do it. But I like the concept of the arms, the radius being somewhat constant, thinking about the swing in a way where the arms are straight, and then allowing the rest of the body movements to work around that, rather than what we generally see as the arms in poorer players flexing in and out throughout the swing. The arms continue to stay pretty straight until P8, where the right arm's parallel with the ground, and then you'll see how the lead arm and the lead elbow starts to flex at the end of the swing, which is partly the function of slowing the club down. So that would be a pretty standard demonstration of how that lead arm should work. Pretty straight at setup, a little bit of flex at the top, but very much moving towards straight in the downswing and into the follow through. So now I want to share with you a real life case study example of a golfer I've been working with for the last few weeks at GOLFTEC. Relatively new golfer, so lots of things for us to work on. Important that the instructions for this particular golfer are kept simple so that they can process the information and it doesn't become too overwhelming. But clearly we're working on multiple things simultaneously here to try and build up her structure of her swing so that she can become functional as quickly as possible. Swing on the left has a number of things about it that I would probably change and certainly have worked on helping her to improve. But really today we're focusing on that lead arm. So I'm just going to take you through the pattern of what I typically see with poorest golfers who struggle the most with contact. As she sets up in both these pictures, the setup's clearly different. We've worked on some different things, but I say I'm just going to focus on that lead arm today. To begin with, her backswing was actually very short, just didn't make much of a turn, so there was some other pieces, but at the top of the swing, she actually managed to keep her arm pretty straight, pretty similar to how it started. Part of that is because she didn't go very far back, so the arm stayed quite straight. In the more recent swing, we've worked on the arms specifically, starting out there with the arm pretty close to straight again, a couple of degrees flexed, moving into the backswing, stays quite straight, and then towards the top of the swing, moves towards 7-8 degrees of flexion, which is fine. We've worked with some different training aids. We've used the structure ball. She's got her own version actually on the ground there. You might see a version of the Tour Striker Smart Ball, using something between the arms to give her a sense of that structure of the arms and how they should move, because previously there was an awful lot of pulling apart of the arms. So at the top of the swing they look quite different, but my key point here, again going back to my demonstration of this, was what happens on the downswing. So from left arm parallel to the ground, which is P5, golfer goes from 5 degrees of flex now and 4 degrees of flex before. Let's take a look at the original swing first, because this is typically the pattern in poorer players. Moving towards impact, the arm isn't straightening, if anything it's flexing. And just before impact, you'll see that number start to go up from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No surprises for me that this ball was topped, finds it very difficult to hit the ground. And then straight after impact, the rate at which that lead elbow flex increases is very concerning. Okay, we're up to 24, 35, very, very quickly. Those arms are pulling that club head away from the ground, making it extremely difficult for any sort of consistent contact. We take a look at the pattern on the right now. We talked about how that lead arm should start to move towards straight as we reach the ball. 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 1. And through impact we get to 0, which is brilliant how that arm is straightening through that time of the swing. That's important. So the better players, the pattern is the arm is straightening through impact. In the downswing and through impact, the lead arm is straightening. And in the poorest players, it's doing the opposite. That's an important pattern to recognize, not the numbers themselves, but the pattern of the movement. And continuing into the follow through, much more extension with the arms. And again, the radius management is beginning to take shape. I'm liking how this swing's starting to look, the contact's improving, the variability is less. So I just wanted to show you that we can use this measurement at GOLFTEC along with the skills of the coaches to help students, be it beginners or even more experienced players who struggle with this problem. We can really help them to isolate and improve this piece when you know how to, very, very quickly indeed. So now let's jump on the mat and give you some ideas about what you could be doing. This is such an important piece. Recent videos, I've done plenty on arms straight. We used the structure ball in a recent video, which is a great tool if you're trying to improve this part of your swing. I think this gets overlooked. I think it's almost taken for granted in some instances, or when someone sees this issue, they're not sure how to fix it. And flexing arms and fluctuating radius is one of the biggest problems that faces the mass golfing population. It really is. It stops them from having any sort of consistency to their strike. So I've just got a short iron here. I've just got my 9-iron today, partly because I want to get you guys to just think about starting out small. Squeezing the arms together was a feeling that helped this particular golfer that I was just talking about. She had a ball between her arms. We were practicing keeping the structure with the elbows and the arms. But actually the real breakthrough feeling was as she's swinging down to really feel like these elbows were actually consciously pushing together and that the forearms were getting closer together. It wasn't simply just a case of holding on to something in between the arms. That wasn't enough. It didn't give the right downswing sequence. It was a case of Keep trying to actually squeeze whatever it is between your arms and get your arms to feel like they get closer to each other. And the act of squeezing your elbows closer together or squeezing those forearms closer together is helping to straighten out the arms in this case, maxing out somewhere after impact. So I would start with just that feeling of, at the end of your swing here, just chipping some balls out, feeling like you consciously are squeezing your forearms closer together. You're not just hitting a shot and finishing and hoping that it's a good shot. You are consciously squeezing your arms together. Something like this. So I stop and I really am pushing my arms closer together. Throughout the backswing, closer together. That's helping to keep the structure. Throughout the downswing, closer together. I'm squeezing that ball through impact and into the finish. So fixing the lead arm flexing issue that so many of you suffer from is really a case of feeling like your elbows stay much closer together and your forearms stay much closer together, which helps you to keep the structure of the swing in place and genuinely start to manage that radius more consistently. I wanted to finish with a very quick drill to share with you using the structure ball. I know many of you have picked this up recently off the back of my recommendation a few videos back. If you didn't get a chance to see what this was, go back and take a look at that video. I'll link it in the description. And also the code GridLife is still good for a 15% discount. Put the ball between your arms, grab a short club, pitching wedge, 9-iron is great. In fact, one of the best ways to do this is just to keep the ball between your arms and pitch the ball out there. Not many of you are spending much time on your short or mid-distance wedges. Grab your wedge and just keep the ball between your arms, which tidies up the radius and encourages your body to start to pivot properly, and just hit some 30, 40, 50-yard shots. So grab your wedge, take your setup, squeeze the ball and keep squeezing throughout the swing. Keep it short to start with. Another thing that people get wrong here is they're just trying to hit the ball too hard and they don't have the skill to be able to manage the arms sufficiently at speed. So you've got to start slow. Start by hitting pitch shots. We're looking for consistency of contact, managing the radius, improving the body motion, making good contact each and every time, and squeezing those arms, squeezing the arms together. You can't see this on video, but I'm promising you I'm pushing my arms, my elbows inwards and squeezing the life out of this ball as I hit these shots. Starting slow, 30, 40-yard shots if you like. Just improving the contact. You don't do this practice anyway. You're not doing enough of this as it is. Your pitch shots in general aren't good enough. They strike, it's too inconsistent. It's not only going to help the entire golf swing by improving this radius throughout the swing, it's going to help these little pitch shots. Arms close, keep them together, squeeze the ball, and then pivot the body back and through. Just keep squeezing. I promise you, if you spend 10 minutes each time you practice, the beginning of your practice session is a great way to start warming up. Small swings, not trying to hit the ball too hard, using some sort of training aid to keep the structure to your arms. Once you've done that, your long game practice, your fuller swings will begin to benefit, because every single swing is going to benefit from keeping those arms straighter throughout. Guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to improve your arm structure, get some good training aids. Structure ball's a good one. I'll put the link in the description below. There's a discount code for anyone wanting to take advantage of that. And if you want to improve your swing, get down to your local GOLFTEC or find a stack and tilt instructor near you. They are the experts at helping with radius management. Final point this week, last week's video on the divot board got a ton of comments. Thank you so much for the interest. I'm still going to give one of these away. If you haven't had a chance to look at the video just yet, you've still got a little bit more time. I'm going to make the draw next week at some point. Keep an eye on the channel. You need to subscribe. I'm going to shoot a short video where I'll post it on my YouTube channel. You'll see the draw. You'll see the winner of the divot board. If you haven't entered yet, get over to the video, click like, click subscribe, and make a comment, and you'll be entered into the draw. Guys, thanks for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. The arms straight and the radius management movement is real. I'm pushing hard on this one. I want you to understand how important it is that the golf swing has structure. Structure equals consistency, contact. Consistency of contact equals better scores. So if you haven't already, check out my other arms straight videos. I'll put those in the description below. If you like this one, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed, and of course jump down in the comments and let me know what you thought. Until next week, guys, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you very soon for another video.